This town has my heart. Fairborn, Ohio, you have my heart. Because you're my hometown. My hometown. My hometown. Fairborn, Ohio is my hometown. Fairborn, Ohio is my hometown. Ready for tomorrow is my hometown.
Future's looking bright in
My hometown.
we celebrate tonight.
My hometown. Happy birthday,
Transportation is one of the most important services in the entire world. The body's circulatory system can be compared to our street system. Like arteries and veins, street networks facilitate the movement of people and materials from our homes, businesses, cultural, recreational activities. Just as the human body cannot be healthy without perfectly functioning circulatory system, so the transportation system must be in good order for the city to function and grow. If you were in a doctor's office and he told you you had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and would have a stroke at any time, would you just turn around without hearing what he had to say and then doing what he suggested? We're going to discuss the deteriorating condition of our street system, what pavement management is, and why it is the solution and how to implement it. No one knows the streets of Fairborn as well as Bruce Schwallock. He's been driving them as our civil engineer for the last 13 years.
We're turning onto Oak Street from Ironwood. Oak Street has a plethora of problems. We've got pavement cuts, we've got block cracking, we've got alligator cracking, we've got a very uneven profile and cross-section which affects the rideability, makes it very dangerous for police and fire vehicles when they're making their runs. We've got a lot of patching, got edge cracking. We've got some dangerous areas like this as we're turning on to Salem that needs to be corrected, but without proper funding we just can't address them.
The assault on pavement comes from several areas. The climate, whether it's the heat of the summer or the freeze and thaw of the other seasons. Traffic loading. Utility cuts such as water, sewer, and gas repairs. Materials that the roads themselves are made out of age.
We're on Man Ave, a street that's in very poor to critical condition. It has a lot of pavement cuts on it. A pavement cut is like a cut on your skin to where bacteria enters in and you get an infection. When a pavement cut occurs on a pavement, it allows water to intrude into the pavement structure, weakens it. It's not able to hold loads up as it should. There's also a lot of cracking on this street. The asphalt has oxidized, which means it's more brittle, not able to perform structurally as it should. And also the rideability. You can imagine police, fire, emergency vehicles trying to get to their destination on a road like this.
The expected life cycle of new asphalt pavement is about 20 years. Following this cycle, it illustrates what typical maintenance is required for this 20-year period to assure that good pavement will be functioning 20 years down the road.
Basically, we start out with a new pavement, and what we've done in Fairborn is usually let it go for 15 years or so before we do anything, and this is the totally wrong approach. The reason it's been done like this for so many years is because of inadequate funding. Typically, at the 3 to 5 year mark, you should be doing crack sealing, possibly a slurry seal. Slurry seal helps seal the pavement. It's one of the main things we want to do is to keep water out of the pavement. At the 5 to 7 year mark, we probably would do something like a chip seal or microsurfacing. These are preventative maintenance treatments. When you get down to the 10 or 12 year mark, you need to do something a little more drastic, something that's going to help the road structurally. You want to do at this point a milling and an asphalt overlay. Once this is done, the process starts all over again. You can see where our street department has done some crack sealing, which is very good, but when you have 5 people in your entire street department in a city the size of Fairborn, they just can't do all the streets. on a regular basis as pavement management would dictate that we do.
In the late 80s and early 90s, a new tool was finding its way into the hands of the civil engineer. It was called a pavement management, and when it is implemented, can save a community a fortune in maintaining the street system. It basically says you apply the right treatment to the right pavement at the right time. In other words, you don't just go blindly fixing the worst streets each year. This method is far more costly. Yet this is what Fairborn has followed for many years because of inadequate funding.
We're on Ivanhoe Drive in Rona Hills subdivision, concrete street that has been let go for years. It really needs at this point to be totally reconstructed. In other words, all the concrete removed and either replaced with concrete or an asphalt pavement structure. When we come in and do this now, what we've been doing is we've been doing joint repair, and after that we do a SAMI, and after that we put on usually 2 inches of asphalt overlay. In 2004 we have not done any of these concrete streets, whether it's Rona Hills, Forest Hills, or other areas of the city, simply because it's so expensive. A typical street like this can run $30,000 up to $50,000 depending on the length. Because it's been let go for so long, it gets very expensive to rehabilitate the street.
In 1991, the city had $128,000 for street maintenance. The streets were in terrible condition, and it was falling further and further behind. In 1995, using some of the principles of pavement management, the engineering division put a price tag to bring the streets to an acceptable level of service. That was $5 million. Additional funding was recommended as a solution, yet it was not achieved. Now we find ourselves in 2004, and that